Hello YouTube, I'm Steve and this is Valiant Customs. Today the project that I have in here to work on is a 1964 Plymouth Valiant gasser. With this project in this video I would like to have the brake system buttoned up and finished working, all that good stuff, and I also want to have a regulator on. So with that being said, let's get started. Right here I have the caliper for it, and I'm using stainless steel braided hoses on this gasser. And this is the fitting, the part number for the fitting that I'm going to be using, the 90 degree. It's I got it from Speedway. I want to put a little Teflon tape on it, so that way I'm not taking any chances of getting air or anything in the brake system. I don't know, when I'm doing Mach 25 in this Valiant, I definitely want to be able to stop. Mach 25 down Main Street cruising. This car isn't going to get raced or anything. It's just a cruiser for my wife and the grandkids, so we can be downtown and enjoy some of our car shows that we go to. Now on this, I ordered a 55 through 57 Chevy stainless steel braided hose kit for it, but the 90 degree fitting was too small for my threads in here. So I had to go back to Speedway and get a 3AM fitting to a 7/16 20 end on it, so that it would go in here. And also the old fitting, where you at there? There we go. The old fitting, I had to cut these tabs off because it was going to fit down in there too far, and it was hitting those tabs and wasn't able to go in far enough. Usually these have a banjo bolt, which is basically a hollow bolt with a hole in it. You got a copper washer on one end, and then another copper washer on the other side of your brake line when you go to bolt it in there. And these two things here, the things I cut off of this caliper, actually hold the brake line solid. So since I'm doing a custom modification here, this should work just fine like this. And these fittings are really pretty cool because my brake lines don't have the banjo nut end. They're all AM fittings on both ends of the brake lines. But this fitting, if you can see it on this one, it's got a little rubber O-ring in here to seal right on there. And it's got the jam nut that you can turn and tighten it up right there and everything to keep your line pointing to where you want it to go. My problem was when I had the stock or OEM GM brake line with the banjo nut, it was aiming out this way and it would interfere with my steering linkage and my kingpin set up on my straight axle. So that's why I had to go with a 90, and I went with 18-inch stainless steel brake hoses for the travel of the gasser, or the straight axle, the leaf springs on the front of it. Alright, so I got this. Let me find a wrench to tighten this down. Little back history on the gasser. A friend of mine bought the gasser and was building it. It originally, when he bought it, it was a race car. I'm not sure what kind, it was a circle track or whatever, but it was a race car. And he bought it. He put the straight axle under it, the Speedway straight axle, and the gasser kit on it. Did a fantastic job on it. But not only that, he also modified the rear wheel wells. And I'll walk around the car for you guys and show you and everything. Give you a little bit of taste of what I'm working on. Alright, so I hope you guys can see okay. Got the rotor. This is the bracket for the caliper. And I've already put my hanger and my fitting, my AN fitting up here for this brake line. And I also installed the brake line, or the brake hose itself. Now on the calipers, I usually like to put a little bit of grease. Alright, so I usually like to put a little bit of grease right in these holes here where the caliper hold down pins go to hold the caliper onto this bracket. Put the brake pads on first here. Oh. Okay. This one. Ooh. All right. So I just take a little bit of grease, not very much, and wipe it on the inside of the caliper holes here where the rubber is on them. Usually the GM ones have sleeves, rubber sleeves that come out so far on them. I put grease in there as well. Plus you can take your hold down pin and just wipe a little bit of grease on the end. And you can wipe a little bit of grease on here. This just helps them to slide on that rubber bushing that's in there and everything. And then you can take it and, oops, put this down. And you take it and you slide it on here, like so. Come on, slide on there. There we go. Slide that on there. Put your caliper hold down pin in. Hold on now. Let's hold up. Come on. Huh. She doesn't want to cooperate very well. What the heck? There we go. Now I think she's going. Oh yeah. And then just repeat it onto the second one. A little grease on here. A little grease on this end. Up it through the rubber bushing. Slide her on in. That was a lot easier. I'm just all up in your guys' way, aren't I? Sorry about that. Okay, those are tight. I'm ready to ouch, that felt great. Wipe the excess off the ends of the excess grease off the ends of the pins. Well, it's a different day. I looked at my footage from yesterday about the caliper on the driver's side. Some of it was pretty good, but I noticed that there's a lot of it that my camera angle was just terrible. So I'm pretty sure I'll get lit up in the comments, which is fine. That's great. Speaking of the comments, if you would, please hit the like, subscribe, and leave a comment, and hit the little bell and for any alerts and notifications. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go over the passenger side. The 90-degree fitting part on the workbench, I feel that I did a pretty good job with that and everything. But I'm going to go from that point on as far as the hold down pins, the calipers, and then from there I'll put in brake lines or install the hard brake lines and go to the other side for the proportioning valve. So again, sorry about the bad camera angles and everything, and hopefully today we'll be able to do it a whole lot better. So we're going to start with taking off the tires. I only got a couple lug nuts on it because I don't drive it, I just push it around. So choose plenty to hold it on there while I'm making a roller. Alright, so yesterday I wasn't able to show you the hanger that I put on the frame right here, and they make this little fitting here that adapts your brake lines into an AN fitting for the stainless steel. You push it up through here, and then they got this little clip. It goes right, whoops, wrong way. It goes right in there, and you just give it a little tongue, a couple little love taps, and it goes right in. It holds it there for you. Works really, really good. All right. Pop this one out. Well, have another inconvenient moment. I don't know. I'm sure you guys can see. Here, I'll put you in here to let you look at it. As you can see, my steering linkage is sitting on my caliper. Can't get it out. So I'm going to have to undo that. none of my bolts are tight on it, on this stuff right now. I'll go through and do a final inspection on all my nuts and bolts and everything to make sure it's all good. There we go, just like that. Here's those tabs I was talking about on the other side that I cut off because of a hard 90-degree fitting that I had. Okay, I'm back. Just going to slide this in here like this, best you can. There we go. And then, same thing as yesterday. I usually put a little, just a touch of grease on in here, and a little bit in here. And I always put some on here. It doesn't take much, just a thin coat. If this had the sleeves like I was talking about on the passenger side, like the GMs have, I would fill the sleeves with grease, and then once you have them in place and everything, then you can, whoops, wrong way. Then when you got them in place, I'll show you here in just a second. You can take them, like the ones with the GM ones with the sleeves on them and everything, you just move them back and forth a little bit, get them to slide nice and easy. Hope you guys can see that, but that grease just helps the rubber to slide. Or a little bit on this one. There you go. And usually when I do a brake job, if the calipers are all rusted right in here, I take a wire wheel and I clean this all up and clean the bottom part all up, and then I'll take just a real thin layer of grease and put on there and put on the bottom to help the brake shoes themselves slide back and forth a little easier. Alright, so I think it's time for the brake line. We'll put that right up here. There we go. And it doesn't take a lot. I mean, don't over torque them. Need to have somebody lose their and fitting and all. Because you'll torque them and strip them out. And then you got to wait for a new set of brake lines to come. That's no fun. So I got the brake line on right here, and it is tight through my steering linkage, and my brake, my 90-degree fitting. It's pretty tight, but I think it'll be all right. So then I take this up here, this on here. Ooh. No. There's that. That. I think we're going to be all right. Looks like it's going to be just fine. Well, we got those hooked up. Next thing will be the hard brake lines. I have the driver's side. I already have that brake line already ran to the proportioning valve. I still have to run passenger side of the proportioning valve, and then my rear brake line I have to run up to the proportioning valve as well. I already have brake lines ran to each drum back there, and I already have a brand new brake hose back there. So I'll get these ran, and then I'll get you guys in there to see how I ran it and what it looks like when it's done. So I'm probably just gonna fast forward, and I'll be right back with you. Well, I think before I get started on that hard brake line for the passenger side, I think I'll do a little walk around with you guys, let you see the 64 Valiant gasser. So it's got a 318 tunnel ram dual carbs. The wheel wells have been modified. The wheel wells are actually Ford F-150 truck wheel wells that have been grafted in. The inside is definitely not finished yet. That's probably going to be a video doing the interior panels there and the back ones, and then the ones also on the driver's side. Have the fuel cell and battery back in the trunk. So that's about it. It does have a B&M shifter that it's not working to the way I want it to, so I'm probably gonna end up putting in a low-car or locker, however you want to pronounce it. I'll probably be putting that in. Here's my list that I got to do yet. And again, right here, check all bolts. When this build's done, I will be getting under it and I'll be checking all the bolts, because I know the engine mount bolts are loose still. The steering linkage ones are loose. I mean, you guys saw that. It's going to have electric fans, but I'm going to probably make a shroud to hold those on there. Not going to put a bumper on it. I'm going to run it just like that. I think it looks pretty cool without the bumper on it. No hood. It's going to be just like that, where everybody can see it. The wiring, I'm going to fix the wiring up a little bit better, because you can still see a bunch of wiring down by the starter and everything. But that's the walk around of the Valiant Gasser. Now I'll get started on those brake lines. So I'm on the last fitting for the brake lines. It's on the rear, and I just wanted to show you guys this flaring tool. I bought this flaring tool, and definitely it was like 50 or 60 bucks. Definitely worth the money. My flares, I have one of the cheap ones that you can buy for like, I think they're like 12 or 15 bucks. And they never seem to seat very well or anything. But this one here, it's unbelievable how the flare looks. It fits right on. These are well worth the money. Just have to tighten them down like this. And then they give you this little plug that comes in the kit as well. And it goes in here, like so. It's probably hard to see. I'm sorry about that. But just put that in there like that. Push the tube in as far as you. Before I do that, I guess I better put the end on it. Oh, that would be a mess. Done that plenty of times. Flared the lines and forgot to put the fitting on the end, and had to cut them off and redo it, and that's no fun. So anyway, you put this back in here, put it right up to the plug here. As you push it up to the plug. And then you got to tighten these down. Oops, tighten. Lefty loosey, righty tighty. So you push that in, you tighten these down. And then you back the plug out. Ooh, maybe. There, back the plug out. And then you take this other little plug that they send in the kit. It's got one where it pushes the tube down, and then on the other end you flip it around, you put it in, and it actually folds it inside itself to form the double flare. What? Doesn't seem to be in all the way. Must not have pushed it all the way up against the plug. So I'll put the plug back in. Loosen this back up again. Oops. And push it in right up against the plug. And tighten her back down. take the flat plug back out again. It's a little more, seems to be a little bit more work than the El Cheapo ones, but the flare is a whole lot better. Looks like it's got a lot better seating surface and everything. I don't mind doing the extra steps and stuff as long as my flare turns out good, my brakes don't leak. It's a win-win situation at that point. And back it out. Then you take it, you flip it over, and put the other end in. And tighten that down. And take it out. And hopefully we've got a really good looking flare. I don't know if you guys can see it, but that's my flare, and she looks really good. So I would say that spending the extra $40 or $50 and getting that kind of flaring tool instead of a $12 or $15 flaring tool that never seems to put the flares on correctly, and they always seem to leak. Definitely I would spend the extra money for that tool. So I'm going to button this up, and then I'll get back with you in just a second. Well, it looks like I have front brakes, but I seem to be having an issue with my proportioning valve down here. I think the valve is switched over for the front brakes to be working. That's usually that's a safety precaution in case the rear brake line blows one of the rear brake lines. Then that way the valve switches over and you're stuck with the front brakes. My front brakes are working great. There's no air in them or anything. The back ones, not so much. But unfortunately, I'm kind of out of time on this video. I would really like to get this sent out to you guys. So I will bring it when I go to do the fuel regulator, because I didn't get to that on this video either. The next video will be the fuel regulator, and then I'll update you on how the proportioning valve turned out. Who knows, I may end up having to buy another proportioning valve. So with that being said, I hope that you like the video. Please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. I would appreciate it. And thank you very much. God bless.